Hello, Professor Gorin. It is a privilege to interview you for Hematology Frontier. We deeply appreciate your leadership in the field and your efforts in fostering global collaboration. We have a few questions regarding EBMT strategies and future directions. Let's start with the evolution of transplantation strategies. Reflecting on the EBMT's work on indications for transplantation in AML, how has the integration of novel therapies impacted global transplantation strategies?
Oh, very much. I mean, it's a huge question. At the moment, the only curative option for most AML is stem cell transplantation. Stem cell transplantation has changed over the last 30 years. First of all, we were transplanting only patients below 55 years of age, and now we can go up to 75 because we are using conditioning regimen which are less toxic, and they are called reduced intensity conditioning. Second, we were using marrow, which was collected under general anesthesia. Now we are using peripheral blood stem cells, which are collected by leukapheresis, much easier. And third, we have now many donors, because in the past we could use only geno-identical donors, meaning a sister or a brother, and now we can use, among other, haploidentical donors, meaning almost anyone from the family. And this new technology has been developed since 2005 or 2006 here in China, as well at the same time as in the US. So this is a huge progress, and we can almost do the transplant for any patients. Remember that 50% of patients with AML are over 70 years of age. Second, this is transplantation. But second, we now have targeted therapies. Targeted therapies are therapies which target a specific antigen or molecule belonging only or mostly to the AML cells, to the leukemic cells. So this is now combined to chemotherapy, for instance, and therefore the efficacy is considerably increased. And finally, of course, everybody knows that we have immune therapy. The problem with immune therapy is that it is dramatically effective in lymphoid malignancies, and you are raising the question of myeloid malignancies with AML. But nonetheless, we have T-cell engagers, we have monoclonal antibodies and anti-CD13, anti-CD33, anti-CD123, and they may be conjugated with chemotherapy, and we are waiting, expecting, and already having CAR T cells. You have to know that 50%, let's say 48% of the trials with CAR T cells are done here in China. The other 48% are done in the US, and unfortunately for Europe, we have only the 4% that remain. And I think if you ask me the question that in 5 years from now on, the scope will have changed one more time. We are curing at the moment 50% of the patients. I would say that in 10 years, it will be 65%, something like this.
Finally, regarding the collaboration with China, building on the progress already achieved by the cooperation platform between EBMT and China in bilateral scientific research and educational exchanges, what specific directions does EBMT plan to deepen cooperation with China in the future?
Yeah, so I am the first chair of the Global Committee of the EBMT, which was created in 2017. And I have a personal past with the Chinese, because I did the first autologous transplantation in 1977. And we had several Chinese young colleagues coming to our institution to get trained, first on autologous and on allogenic, and the reason being that at that time you had the one-child policy. So there was no possibility to envision allogenic transplantation. As chair, and I went to China, I don't know, 20 times in my life. So as chair as the global committee, my first mission was China, because not only you have 1,400,000,000 inhabitants, but you have a considerable number of centers that now are really top of the art and very well trained. So my mission was to ask our colleagues to join EBMT. And 39 teams have joined EBMT. I'm very proud of this. And therefore the data from China now go to this huge registry of the EBMT, which contains more than 800,000 patients. And just to conclude and tell you, I'm extremely lucky because I have around me, I would say 6 or 7 young Chinese investigators who are working with me with the registry. And so far we have published, I think, about 10 publications, scientific publication in good reviews on stem cell transplantation, sharing our approaches, and I think everybody is winning. It's a win and win story.